everybody, Sean for Movie Assault here, and it's time once again for another video. This time out, it is my monthly pickups for August of 2023, and I've got stuff from Arrow Video, Half Price Books, eBay, Walmart, Amazon, and Best Buy. I am leaving out the stuff that I covered previously on the channel that I got from Hamilton Book. No reason to go over that material again, so if you want to see that, I'll put a link right up there. But let's just jump right in, and I'll start with what I picked up from Arrow, which I took advantage of a sale they were having. And this is the Cold War Creatures, four films from Sam Katzman. And so far, I've watched one of these, and the movies included are Creature with the Atom Brain, The Werewolf, The Giant Claw, and Zombies of Moratau. And I have only watched The Creature with the Atom Brain. It was really entertaining. The art on these, it's reversible, but the newly commissioned art, I guess, is kind of interesting for all of these. And these are the kind of films I really enjoy watching, the 1950s atomic age horror films, because the science is completely out of whack, and everything is blamed on the atomic bomb, and they're just a lot of fun. Yeah, got this at a decent price. I believe it was $34, give or take. So that was way down from what it was originally costing, so I was glad to pick this up. All right, next up is Half Price Books. Some of these are blind buys, some are movies I've seen and wanted to add into the collection. So we'll just get started with one of the blind buys, and that is Michael Bay's Ambulance, starring Jake Gyllenhaal. And I've seen this trailer for this multiple times in the theater, and then when it came to the theater, I just didn't get a chance to see it. It looked interesting. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought. Michael Bay is one of those directors that you either love him or you hate him. I don't think you're usually too ambivalent about him, or at least the films. I mean, he did The Rock, and I thought that was fantastic, but then he did Transformers, and I was just like, So we'll see what this one has to hold. This is a film that I have seen, Quick and the Dead, finally adding this to my collection. Gene Hackman, Leonardo DiCaprio, Sharon Stone, and Russell Crowe. Western. This came out in 96, I believe. 96 or 95. And I actually wrote a report on this for college when I was taking a film class, and I went to see a movie. I don't remember what the requirements for the assignment were, but I remember I wrote a report about this. Unfortunately, I don't remember anything about the report or the movie, so I really need to rewatch it. But Sam Raimi, I remember liking it. Another addition to the collection that I've seen before is Hellboy, Guillermo del Toro's version of Hellboy, the first one. I still need to get Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, but I'm glad to have this in the collection. And this is another one I haven't watched for over 10 years, I think. Well, it can't be over 10 years because it hasn't been out for that. Well, yeah, it has been out that long. So it's been a long time since I've seen this. But yeah. Watch that again. This is a blind buy. This is Legend from Ridley Scott with Tom Cruise and Mia Sara and Tim Curry, of course. And this I started watching on cable one day, and I just didn't get a chance to finish it. I had to go somewhere or do something. And I was enjoying it, but I didn't get very far into it, so I have not seen it in its entirety. This includes the director's cut and the theatrical cut. Which one should I watch first? Director's cut or theatrical cut? Let me know. This is a film by S. Craig Zahler, and that is Bone Tomahawk. This is a blind buy. I've only seen one of Zahler's films, and that was Brawl in Cell Block 99. I believe that's the right cell block number. But this also has, with Kurt Russell, Matthew Fox, Richard Jenkins, and Patrick Wilson. I still have to see Dragged Across Concrete as well, but I've heard more favorable things about this one, so I'll probably watch this one first. This was one I just thought sounded interesting. The cast is interesting as well. This has Billy Crudup, Michael Angarano, or Anna Garand. I can't tell if that's a D or an O. Ezra Miller, Ty Sheridan, and Olivia Thirlby. But this is the Stanford Prison Experiment, based on a true story. They were given 2 weeks. It lasted 6 days. I've heard a lot about this experiment. I don't know how much has been fictionalized for this, but I thought it was interesting. And the cast made it worth picking up, I think. So if you've seen this, let me know what you thought. This was a movie I had in my collection, and I'm not 100% sure why I got rid of it, but it is Interstellar, of course, from Christopher Nolan, with Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain, and Michael Caine. I remember really, really enjoying this when I watched it. Some of it was a little hard to absorb, but I guess the science is solid. I can't verify that because I am not a science person, but I really enjoyed this film and its depiction of the near future, and worth seeing again. And this comes with an actual film cell from a 70mm print, which is pretty cool. It says actual cell included may vary in each unit sold, but looks like I got a pretty decent one. So that's pretty cool. And the fact that I got that at Half Price Books intact is also pretty cool. This is a blind buy. I've heard a lot of good things about this movie, and I always enjoy Pixar films, so this is Inside Out. I have not seen this. The cast on this is not listed on the back. Oh, yeah, it is. Or is it? Nope, the cast is not listed, which is interesting. But I believe Lewis Black does one of the voices on this, but I don't know who does anything else. This was directed by Pete Docter. But yeah, if you've seen this, let me know what you thought. And then last, from Half Price Books, I picked up Dogma. I did not get the Blu-ray. I really don't have the deep pockets for that. I wanted to see it again. I've seen it before, but I thought this was an interesting sort of compromise, not being able to find the Blu-ray for a decent amount of money. But this is the collector's edition, or special edition, if I can get it out of here. It is sort of like a Bible, and includes a little booklet and then 2 discs. So thought that was cool. Didn't pay too much for that, so I'm glad to have that in the collection. So yeah, Dogma on DVD. All right, next is eBay. This first one I actually picked up last month, and I had it in my other room. And this is a movie that I have on Blu-ray, but I picked up the DVD of Near Dark because this has so many special features on it and cool stuff. Comes in this neat slipcase, and then it has the different characters in this fold-out, and then the inside, and then it has a neat little booklet. I won't open it, but it's got the chapter selections on it. Really, really like this. I used to have this, and I traded it in, and I don't know why I traded it in, because I loved it when I had it. So I may have just grabbed it by accident when I traded stuff in. I don't know, but I thought I still had this, and was very disappointed when I went and looked, and it was gone. So I was able to find it for a decent price. So glad to have this back in the collection, just because I love this movie. Then I added these 2 to the collection. This is Galaxina and the Crater Lake Monster. This has Dorothy Stratton, rest in peace. And the Crater Lake Monster has Richard Cardella, Glenn Roberts, and Mark Siegel. I don't know who any of those people are, but I've seen both of these films, and I've actually had this set before. And again, I traded it in, wanted to add it back to the collection, so I got this from eBay. And there's the back. And unfortunately, everything is on 1 disc, which kind of stinks, but what are you going to do? It's from Mill Creek. Then I also picked this one up. This is Meatballs, and this came with a neat slipcover. That sort of looks like a retro VHS cover. Love this movie. I've seen it multiple times and don't know why it's not in my collection, but it is now. And then last but not least from eBay, I picked up Reservoir Dogs. And this I haven't seen in a really long time. Of course, this is a Quentin Tarantino film. And I think I watched this probably right around the time, or the last time I watched it was right around the time that Pulp Fiction came out. So it was on VHS, but did not have it in the collection. I wanted to add it. All right, next up is Walmart, and just picked up two things there. Picked up the Steelbook of Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story, and this does include some special features. This is, of course, a Steelbook. Kind of cool. This was the only version that they had at Walmart, so I didn't necessarily want to get the Steelbook, but that was my only choice. I thought this was a really entertaining movie. Robert Englund is a very good storyteller, and I'm surprised he remembers the level of detail he does over his career. But this was a really interesting movie. A lot of cool interviews with his wife and other actors and actresses like Lynn Shay and Tony Todd, Eli Roth, and of course Heather Langenkamp from Nightmare 1, 2, and New Nightmare. Or 1, 3 and New Nightmare. But this also talks a lot about his beginnings in Hollywood and what he's been up to since putting down the glove of Freddy. Just a really, really good movie. So if you're interested in not just horror, but just acting in Hollywood in general, this has a lot of nice and very... I don't want to say super in-depth, but it's just interesting background information about how movies are made and stuff. So it's really good. And then I did pick up one of the retro slipcover editions. I did get The Gate. Love this movie. This, of course, is a Vestron number 8. But yeah, love this movie. This was an HBO favorite back in the day. Stephen Dorff, who is just a little child in this movie, but this movie is lovably goofy. But I like the special effects in it. They're I don't want to say adorable because that's not the word I'm looking for, but they're just good enough to be passable. But it's just a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. I never saw the sequel. I saw a bit of the sequel while I was over at somebody's house, and it was just the kid with the glasses, whose character name I can't remember. But it did not give off the same cool vibe as the original, so I didn't watch the whole thing. All right, I got one thing from Best Buy, and that is picked up the Steelbook of The Flash, and I have not opened this yet. I just picked this up the other day. I've seen this film. I saw it in the theater. I was really surprised by this because it was such a bomb at the box office. I really expected it to be crappy. I had a free pass to the local theater, so I went to see it. Didn't spend any money on it. And I don't want to say I was blown away by it. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was a lot of fun. Ezra Miller is who he is, or who they is. But I don't know. I wanted to have this in the collection because I just thought it was a fun movie. And of the DC movies, it's one of the ones I enjoyed the most, which is really surprising. And having Michael Keaton come back as Batman, it didn't hurt it at all. So I really enjoyed this. So glad to have this in 4K. All right, next up is Amazon, and that's the majority, it's actually the remaining stuff that's left. I picked this up. I saw a trailer for this, and I thought it looked really interesting. It was on Reddit that I saw the trailer, and I don't even remember what the subject was, but somebody pointed this was a good movie. But it's called Leave No Trace, and this stars Ben Foster and Thomasin Harcourt Mackenzie plays his daughter, and they live out in the woods, and he's accused of mistreating her because he's keeping her out of school and stuff. The trailer looked amazing. I have heard nothing but good things about this, It's certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes, whatever that's worth. Yeah, I thought this looked really cool, so I wanted to check this out. And then after I paid $12 for it, I saw it was on Hamilton Book for $4.95. So if you're going to get it there. I also picked this up. This is the 4K version of Cloak and Dagger from Vinegar Syndrome. And this is a movie that I really didn't appreciate when it first came out, but came to like it when it was on HBO. And I haven't seen it in a long time, but this, of course, stars Henry Thomas from E.T. and Dabney Coleman, and was directed by Richard Franklin. This is sort of an 80s lost, I don't want to say it's a lost classic, but it's sort of underappreciated and kind of forgotten. But it's definitely a cool film. This is one that was recommended to me by Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace. Sorry, Kenny. And I've actually got two movies that he recommended to me. This is the first of them. It's To Catch a Killer with Shailene Woodley and Ben Mendelsohn. I like both of them very much. And he said this is sort of like an 80s throwback movie, good, solid detective type movie, police movie, mystery. So I picked this up. And this is something that my wife would probably enjoy as well. So I did not spend a lot of money on this. I got it on sale. I think it was $12, something to that effect, which I thought was a really good deal for a new release. This is another film that I'm adding back to my collection. It's one of my favorites, another Kurt Russell film, Soldier. This is from 97, I think. 98. Directed by Paul Anderson. And just an interesting story. And from what I've heard, this actually takes place in the same universe as Blade Runner. There is sort of a reference to Blade Runner in this, to something from Blade Runner in this. I can't quote exactly what it is, but there's really no firm connection. It's just sort of a tenuous one, but it has nothing to do with Blade Runner or any of the developments from Blade Runner, but it just takes place in the same universe. So I've been told. But anyway, I love this movie. It's a really good action film, really good science fiction film. If you like Kurt Russell, this is definitely one to add to your collection. This is this is a bungle. I made a mistake. I wanted to order the 4K of this, and I accidentally ordered the Blu-ray of Swamp Thing. I already have the Shout Factory or Scream Factory edition of the Blu-ray of Swamp Thing, so now I have two copies of the same movie on Blu-ray. And I'm not sure which one I'll end up keeping. I will probably send this back and get the 4K. That's what I'm thinking I'll do, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do love the retro look of this, and I have not seen this movie in a really long time. And I was looking forward to watching it in 4K, and I clicked the wrong thing. So no wonder I got a good deal on it, because I bought the wrong format. All right, this is the other film that Kenny from Kenny's Movie Palace recommended to me. This was a good deal that he saw on Amazon, and I picked it up. This is the Warner Archive Collection edition of A Lion is in the Streets with James Cagney. Kenny knows I'm a Cagney fan. I have not seen this yet, but I'm looking forward to watching it. This was $7.99, so thank you very much, Kenny. And I'll put a link to Kenny's channel below. Let's get him over 100 subscribers, because he deserves it. He does a lot of cool stuff on his channel. One of the things that he does and has been doing recently is What's in the Box. He's moved several times in the last year, so he packed up his whole collection into boxes, and now he's unpacking them and just randomly showing what's in each box. And it's actually entertaining, because his mix of movies is quite eclectic and very cool. But anyway, he recommended this one to me as well. So thank you, Kenny. And then these last three are films. Well, two of them I've seen, one I haven't. And this one is a result of the top 25 movies of the 80s list. So many people had this on their list. Excuse me. And I have never seen it from beginning to end, and that's The Blues Brothers. And so I want to correct that horrifying mistake in my life. So I picked up The Blues Brothers. This is on sale for a decent price. I don't think I paid too much for this. This has a theatrical and an extended version of the movie. I will probably watch the theatrical one first. But this, of course, has John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Trivia, I was supposed to see the Blues Brothers in concert in the summer of 1980 at Blossom Music Center in the Cleveland area, and the orchestra that is headquartered at Blossom Music Center went on strike, so they canceled, in solidarity with the strike, they canceled a bunch of concerts, and this concert was canceled, and I ended up seeing the Cars that summer instead. But I probably would have enjoyed the Blues Brothers a little bit more at the age I was back then, which was going into 7th grade. But yeah, missed opportunity. This one I can correct. All right, and this was a favorite when I was a little kid. I have not seen it since I was a little kid, so I'm going to basically consider that I haven't seen it. But this is the George Roy Hill directorial effort, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. Total classic. I remember bits and pieces of it. I remember the ending. I remember being sad at the ending, but I don't remember anything in between other than the raindrops keep falling on my head scene with the bicycle. That was a song that my parents would play over and over and over again. But yeah, Catherine Ross is in this, Strother Martin. Of course, the music was done by Burt Bacharach. So definitely want to rewatch this one. And then last but not least, this is a fine, fine film that I was introduced to by my father when it came out on VHS. And that is Edward Zwick's Glory with Morgan Freeman and Matthew Broderick and Denzel. And Carrie Elways is in this. I forgot about that. But this won 3 Academy Awards for Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, and Best Sound. And Denzel won Best Supporting Actor for this. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I think when I watched it with my dad was the last time I've watched it in its entirety. I maybe watched it in the 90s while sort of half paying attention, but I know this is a classic, and I really want to give it my full attention again in 2023. So, Glory. All right, that's everything I picked up minus the Hamilton book stuff. Again, you can watch that at the link right there. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of what I picked up this month. What did you pick up this month? Any good stuff? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always glad to hear from you, and hopefully I'll be a little bit more active this month on commenting and on Instagram. It's been a hell of a busy month at work, and no excuses. I will be more connected. So there you go. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. As always, if you've subscribed, I really appreciate it. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button below and click the notification bell and give this video a thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Take it easy.